Hi everyone, it's Naya from The Collision. I recently got to sit down and talk with Matt Baer, who's the producer of the new holiday comedy Merv, which comes out on December 10th this year. So definitely go check that out. It's a super fun watch. And here is that conversation now. Well, congratulations on
Thank
on
you.
Merv. It's
Thank you very
super
much.
fun.
I'm
Yeah,
glad that you liked it.
I really enjoyed it. I love dogs, love Christmas. It was great.
Good, I'm happy.
Yeah. Well, so among your films, so you're known for producing Unbroken, which is the story of Louis Zamperini. I love that story. But you've also done an apocalyptic film called Maggie, as well as more feel-good movies like The Bachelors. But Merv, if I'm not mistaken, is this your first Christmas like holiday movie?
My first Christmas holiday movie was a movie called Jack Frost. That was the Michael Keaton as a snowman movie. So this is my and of all of the movies that I've produced, somehow the people, excepting Unbroken, that people know is Jack Frost because it had a tremendous afterlife after its release. So this is my second my it's been a long time. Jack Frost was in 1998. So
Wow.
I'm happy to be back after a long dry spell.
So I haven't seen that one yet, so I'll have to check it out. Well, what drew you to Merv, to the story of Merv?
The unique aspect of the story of a couple who are having a rough time and have separated, but they have a child together. In this case, the child is a dog. And I thought, well, it's very difficult to find a unique idea for a romantic comedy. And in this case, and I was working on Merv now for 11 years from the time I first read the script. And so 11 years ago, that concept was highly unique, which is what attracted me to it. And I thought, okay, it's fun and interesting to make this idea of how a dog can be as important to parents as a child. What's happened in the time that from the time that I started until now is COVID brought about more people adopting dogs than ever. And then after COVID, a lot of couples who got dogs during COVID split. So this what started as a novelty to me 11 years ago is now a societal norm. And virtually everybody that I know has somebody who they are friends with who is sharing custody of a dog. So the timing of the gestation of Merv in my life is pretty wild. And I think that the idea of having a movie that is timely as far as how the audience is going to look at it, that doesn't happen every day, especially on something that's been worked on for this long. So I was attracted to the characters. I was attracted to the comedy. I was attracted to the setting. And most specifically, I was attracted to each character, including Merv, having fully rendered arcs of being able to say, okay, the movies that I like to make and the movies that move me are the movies where the characters actually do have a journey along the way that ends up with something profound happening. And Merv does that.
Yeah, definitely. So what this story talks a lot about depression, not only like in the dog, but also between Zoe Deschanel's character and Charlie Cox's character. So how did you kind of approach that topic in that conversation?
After my dad died, I went through my own very severe depression. And that was something that I connected with strongly. So the when Jessica Swale, the director, came aboard, we further and further refined that as far as being able to say, okay, first off, do dogs get depressed? That was question number one. And the answer was yes.
Mhm.
So and the idea, as it says in the film about giving a dog Xanax, is real. So when we had decided, okay, well, what is going to be the psychological link between Zoe's character and Merv? As long as there was a viable explanation for Merv having depression, then that really generated, okay, this is real. How are we going to put this into the movie in a way that is authentic, but that it does not over overemphasize what the genre of the movie is? So when the scene occurs, when Zoe is able to release herself of the psychological trauma that she's been in, I think it's a very effective scene in the movie that is born from a linkage to what would be argued is her child. And so the I think it's accurately rendered, and particularly it's accurately rendered because dogs legitimately get depressed.
Hmm.
So once we were able to really understand that and connect with it, it became a very natural, dramatic way of connecting them.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry that you had to go through that, but it's also a really unique opportunity to be able to kind of show that through a film as well. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm glad that you asked about it, and it is something that is right on the surface of the movie, but hopefully when people contemplate it, that it will further help when people are going through depression and what are the ways that they can overcome it. So
Mhm.
it's a gentle message in the movie.
Yeah, definitely. Well, a little bit of a lighter note. What is your favorite Christmas holiday movie, and did it have any influence on how you approached Merv?
I'm gonna have to start looking back as far as the holiday movies go, because my taste in movies is very wide ranging. The movie that is the most connected to me is a movie I produced called Jack Frost. Uh,
Mhm.
the movie with Michael Keaton and where he passes, but then comes back in the form of a snowman. So that was something that I put a lot of years and love into, and that has the most emotional uh,
Mhm.
to me. And because the movie was so successful on home video, that whenever I meet new people and if they ask me what I've produced and I say Jack Frost, their face immediately lights up because it was something that they watched with their families. So I have to say, and when we're done, I'm going to I want to have a good answer for that, but the best answer for me, which just happens to be Jack Frost, because I put a lot of my heart into it, and it was also made right around the time when I was becoming a father.
Mhm.
So there's a special connection for me with that.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a great answer. If you can say your own movie is one of your favorites, that's great. Well, so why do you think coming back to Merv, why do you think that dogs are so impactful in the lives of humans? I know we've talked a little bit about how they can be similar to kids, but what are your thoughts?
The I've learned so much because I don't have a dog. So I'm one of the only people involved in the movie who did not have that experience. So as a result of this journey, I now understand it more than I ever have, which is the idea of unfiltered love is, to me, there is no question that that's what drives the passion and the commitment to people with their dogs. And I've seen it over and over and over again where um, the the amount of connection and love that goes on is um, as strong as humanly possible. And so I think also that as the world has become somewhat harsher and darker, that the innocence of just having this unique bond where there's nothing that's controversial, that there's nothing that is um, painful, that it's just a human connection between a dog and a human. It's a vestige of the purity of friendship and love. And that dynamic is sure in short supply when it
Mhm.
comes to many times the way that humans are behaving towards each other. So that's really what I have really absorbed and experienced in making the film and seeing uh, so many dogs and their owners and in the process of making the film. But also now, obviously, uh, it's a joke in my family that whenever we are in the car together or walking wherever, there's any kind of dog that my kids say, "Oh, there's Merv, there's Merv, there's Merv."
Oh,
So Merv has entered my family's zeitgeist in a meaningful way. But uh, all that I've experienced with people and their dogs is incredibly profound and emotionally moving.
has Merv convinced you to get your own dog?
Um, I have said this is the most popular question that I have had when making the movie,
Hmm.
and everybody was convinced that that was going to happen to me. My reality is I have two sons, 28 and 24, who are the as far as um, unfettered affection, both given and received, along with my wife. That
Hmm.
I um, I am going to be a great uncle to whatever dogs come into lives. And I suppose I could, if my sons have dogs, then I'll be a great grand dog father. But the I have not felt the hunger to have a dog, um, but I have certainly learned uh, beyond comprehension before I made the film how invaluable they are, and the spirit and connection that people have with them is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if Merv can't convince you to get a dog, I don't know. I don't know
The,
what can.
the story on that was that as far as getting into the nitty gritty of it was I was bit when I was 10 years old by a Doberman.
Oh no.
So there was a pretty thick psychological scar for me, and I'm completely over it. But when I was a kid, we had a cat, but we didn't have a dog. Our cat's name was Marshmallow, and I
Cute.
I loved Marshmallow. We didn't have a dog, and then I went to school, to college and film school, and started on my way. And so there wasn't. I never felt the need to have a dog. Um, and also, anything that I take on, I want to be able to be there 100% for whoever it is that I'm committing to. And in my life, there wasn't a time where I was going to be saying, okay, I can fully commit to the raising of a dog the way that a dog needs to be raised, as far as attention being spent. So it it was partly psychological, but it was also just, you know what, am I going to make the time to do this the right way? And now it's so a part of the zeitgeist of the way people feel about their dogs and raising them, and all the stuff that goes into the dog universe and the dog connection that it was non-existent when I was a kid, and now
Hmm.
it's an obsession.
Yeah, very much so. Well, one last question before we close out, but what do you hope audiences take away from Merv from this film?
What I hope that audiences take from Merv is, number one, that it brings a family together to witness a story that is about family and how families can take on various different forms and how important it is to have the center of understanding and connection be universal and framed around love, and how love comes in, again, love and family come in different forms, but when glued together, they can change the world. And so that's what I want people to take from the film, in addition to the fact it's funny, it's original, and it has a contemporary aspect to it that I think will resonate with everybody.
Definitely. Well, congratulations again on the film. Thank you for talking with me, and
Horace,
good luck.
thank you very much. It's nice to speak to you.
Nice to speak to you as well.